Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Ted Turner. Success leaves clues, kids. I just named 5 of the greatest names in business in the last 150 years. And they all have one thing in common. They're ball busters. They're hard as nails. Where does that leave you? I still work 50, 60 hours a week. And I haven't had to work in 35 years. You're not willing to do anything. You're not willing to sacrifice anything to be a high-performance person.
I don't want to be like Dad.
No, most people don't.
I want to be liked.
Yeah, well, see, you want to fit in. I'm the only speaker that you're ever going to hear that really, with all his heart, doesn't give a shit. If I leave here you liking me, I did something wrong.
They see 30 seconds. They didn't see 10,000 hours.
Anyone can sail on smooth waters. Anyone can dance when the music is playing.
So is it just a run in the rain? You tell me.
Remind yourself of what that door opening is going to feel like.
So I have dreams. Compulsions to be legendary, evolving from the imaginary, and it's near and it's real. I can see. In due time, we realize that real life is defined by our own eyes. And I have blueprints to the skyline. It's just reality is built methodically. And overnight success you would never guess takes a long time. You have to cut lifelines and navigate landmines, but it's your move on your cue, just decide. So I sat there, thought about it. How long am I gonna go on about it? Put my shoes on, I said so long, and went outside. Right through the field I used to run by, where the rows of sunflowers waist high, but it was different than what I envisioned. There weren't any road signs or guidelines or letters that said it's all just fine. It was just me adjusting as I made my way to the sunrise. Then I paused. On the ground below me was a little door. I knocked slowly, was pretty scared, maybe ill-prepared, but we get one life only. So I opened the hatch, looked down, and it's pitch black, no sound. And if you don't choose any road will do. I've been riding logistical merry-go-rounds and my eyes are wide. Restless soul with scores to settle from years ago. I know that there's more cause I told me so. I'm going down the rabbit hole and there's not a way out. The chips fall, I'm all in. Now my prospects are in lockstep and each step is a shakedown. I got a coat of armor, sword of steel, call to arms cause the threat's real. And see, crowns are made on battlefields, so your majesty, no, I will never kneel. Time to face fear, right front center. Watch doubts fall like it's November. Got a treasure map in my backpack, it says life's golden. What a pleasure. Been round and round and free falling now, cause there's ghost schools and there's goblins out there. You're leaving us, they call me treasonous. Think that you're dangerous, you must be delirious. Just in the guns fire and the trumpets start and the ground trembles from the steady march. And it looks bad cause their deck's stacked, but my king beats a queen of hearts. They're trying to win in spades, so I set fires with the kind of flames that forge empires. And like a hurricane, but I'm a tad insane. Cat 5, Cheshire. Right around we go to the next episode under the second story, so look out below. Collect haters' tears that makes a steady flow. And the greatest fears, I told you so. I know it though, there's no impossible. You can watch your past, you can watch it grow. Be more powerful than you will ever know. I'm going down the rabbit hole.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. Capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.
afternoon. Welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host, Rian Hobson, and we're doing the day for the stimulus package. As Nancy Pelosi said over the weekend, she gave 48 hours to get to a conclusion for the stimulus package. And today is the day for the stimulus package to come, or will there be a deal or no deal? That is the big thing. But the market is in the green today, which is actually very funny. It's just that the South African stocks, the JSE, are a bit in the red today, but I'm just actually taking a look quickly because earlier I saw the South African, the JSE actually, was a bit in the red because of the nerves that it gets to the stimulus package, but it's slightly in the red. It's trading currently at 0.11. That is now the all share index, slightly down, and the JSE top 40 is also slightly down with the 0.06% in the negative. But all in all, in the other parts of the world, which is now your European stocks, the FTSE is actually up by 0.3%. The CAC is also up. And also the German DAX, which is slightly down on a 0.2%. Now, basically everything is muted. I can see the NASDAQ is actually trading at 1.09 stronger. The S&P 500, that is now before the market is opening. And also the Dow Jones is also up. So there is a bit of optimism that goes on by saying, okay, the deal will get signed because of the tough talks of Nancy Pelosi that said, listen here, in 48 hours we need to get it done. Now the discussions is still on. Apparently, there was a discussion on Saturday for about 75 minutes where they have a slight discussion between Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi to get things done. Now, the president was obviously not there. Obviously, you know the tensions between Nancy Pelosi or the Democrats and Donald Trump. So the deal is in the balance. That is the whole thing. It was not actually, there was no any claims by saying this deal will be done, but they are hopeful because there's talks that goes on. Now, as you remember, Nancy Pelosi was putting down a 2.2 trillion, and then you have Mnuchin that has a 1.8 trillion, which comes from Trump's side. But then you have the Republican Senate. I think his name is Cornell or something like that. But he actually stated that only 500 billion, that would be the stimulus package. Now, it looks like the Republicans are not onto an agreement there because obviously there was one of the reporters was asking Trump yesterday about the Senate, the Republican Senate. Will they come to the party if they get it right to a 1.8 trillion or 2.2 trillion, whatever Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi agree on? Obviously it will be deep in the trillions. It will be a 1.8 trillion or 2.2 trillion. But will the Republican Senate, will they approve of this deal? Because 500 billion and 1.8 trillion or 2.2 trillions are far. It's a huge margin between the two. What 500 billion and such a 2.2 trillion or 1.8 trillion? It's a huge gap. So will the Republicans get to the party? And Trump didn't even answer the question. He was just saying, listen, yeah, he doesn't want to talk about it. But only thing that he did say is that they will come to the party. So there's still uncertainties regarding the Republicans because they are not sure. On the other side also, Trump was tweeting that he will give something bigger than the Democrats. So is Trump also on the party? There's also a big question mark regarding Donald Trump. But at the end, the people of the United States is actually suffering. There was about, I think last week, there was about new job claims or people that were asking for insurance was up to about 900,000, which is quite a lot. And obviously you have people that needs to pay rent. There's also a wildfire that is riddling parts of the United States where about 4 million hectares was already been wiped out and about 31 people have passed away. Now, there was no state of emergency. Trump was saying, listen here, this thing can't happen every single year where the wildfire comes in. And those people also need money. And then the big thing is also the airlines. Airlines is also a big concern because the airlines also waiting for this stimulus package to come through to keep the airlines afloat, because obviously these guys can do nothing. They only pay salaries. That's it. And they are waiting for the stimulus package to come through so that they can still keep the people alive, or the workers alive. But the whole thing is in a balance. So listen, there's no concrete evidence to say that this deal will go through. A lot of analysts is a bit pessimistic about this whole thing. Will it get passed today or not? And what Nancy Pelosi said, if the stimulus package is not passed today, then it's not possible that we will see the stimulus package done before the 3rd of November or before the elections. So she's pushing for it. I will not say the Republicans, but the Republicans have totally something else in their mind. They are willing to stimulate, but not to the extent of what Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi is negotiating on. So will this deal ever get done? Because today is the deadline. Because there's also administration purposes that needs to go through and all of those things for the money to be available and then getting into people's pockets. Will everything be done in before the 3rd of November? Now, according to Nancy Pelosi, it looks like it can be done, but the deadline is today, and it needs to get done today so that the administration and all those things can get done, and people can get their checks or some sort of relief. But negotiations is still continuing, and I hope that it will be done. Now, if there's no deal, I'm sure you guys know about this. If there's no deal, I can tell you now the market will not like it, because you must now remember, the market is like drugs the whole time. It's always been stimulating the economy the whole time, and that is where the market is actually going on. So if there's no deal today, you can definitely bet yourself we will see a collapse in the Dow and the NASDAQ, the VIX up, S&P 500 down, also stocks, global equities will also be down if the deal doesn't get through today. The probability for this deal to get signed today or to get at least approved today is basically zero. I honestly don't think that they will get this deal passed. The politics is playing its part here, and the people are suffering. So I personally doubt that deal will get passed today. I honestly doubt that. And for traders who open up a trade today, that's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one. If you open up a trade now, maybe buying the NASDAQ or something, I would say definitely you will be in the green today. The best thing is to take your money and run, or you can go the gambler's route, which I will discuss later on. Go big or go home. You can take that option as well. And then you have the dollar option as well. But the dollar is actually going down because of hopes that this deal will get passed, or the positive signs that they are negotiating. So that's why the dollar is down and the equities is up. But gold, on the other hand, and silver it's muted. Even oil is going absolutely nowhere. Everybody's waiting for this stimulus package or approval of the stimulus package today. It will be a tough day today, so your eyes and your ears need to be glued onto the TV or to to social media for you to get the news, because obviously I will also get the news at the time when you receive the time. But it can come at any given time, starting surely from about 3 o'clock or so. Will this deal get passed or not? So it's very, very tough for traders today, because honestly, we are not sure. The best thing that I can say is take your profits now or your losses, or you go in for the lottery. But I will explain that part of the trading later on. But there's also some other things that I need to cover for you. That is now the RBA minutes of this morning. And that shows Australian dollar went down this morning by, I think it's still down with a 0.5%. But the minutes was very dovish, as I expected. And at around 2:30 this morning, the Australian dollar did went down as what I predicted. The Australian dollar is down by a 0.53%, and for the week it is down by 2.32%. New Zealand is also down by a 0.5%. The euro and the British pound is slightly up, and they still have their mess that they need to sort out there. So the market is very flat for today. It's just the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones that has been flying, but there's the big news today. Will this deal get approved today or not? I will just take a short break, and then I will explain you more in detail about the deadline and also about the Australian dollar.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. You know, it's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period.
I came from the bottom, but I'm coming to the top. Like the test of your will, how much faith do you got? Your foot's on the line, will you ever take a shot and score the game? Winning points when the zeros to clock. I've came to find that life's a test, there's no cheating either. Just work and stress, if no money's provided, you're eating less. Bills on the table and pain in your chest. You promise you'll pay for the things that you can't. You want the whole world, but it's burning in your hands. You ask for help, no one hears you in the stands. A crowd full of friends you can never call fam. They love you then, but they don't love you now. Your whole life seems to be crashing down. You never feel safe when there's no one around. So if you feel like giving up, you gotta stand your ground. No one else can ever try to tell you otherwise. So stop trying to be just like them other guys. Fake the haters who live in to see you feeling life. And fuck the coaches who judge it cause of the shape of size. If you ever wanna make it, you gotta show effort and show dedication and crave it like basically nothing else matters but getting that paper and that education. Just take it from me. I ain't doing this shit. The rap with a mouth full of gold teeth. That'll show the whole world that my chain ain't soldiers. Let the world know I'm an OG. No, I do this for my fam, for my city, and for me. Cause honestly, I throw a middle finger up to those who don't. So if you want it, get it, don't ever give up. You got it. You wanna make it, then chase it. No one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine, cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind, but if you want it, get it, don't ever give up, you got it, you wanna make it, then chase it, no one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine, cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind. People will always try to bring you down, but that's a part of life. Imaginary action when they see your name up in the lights. Ignore the gossip and nonsense you're hearing on the daily, cause if it gets to your head, then you'll only end up failing. Just be the best that you can. Only those who love you will be there in the end. Stick with those in your defense and leave alone your phony friends. Stay on track, don't fall behind. Either chase your goals or fall in line. Bullshitting's only a waste of your time, so go with your gut and stay on your grind. I wanna wake up the world. Someone's gotta hear my message. This is food for your thought. Take it as easy ingestion. I won't leave you in question, just a lasting impression. I'm trying to speak the truth, so take heed to my lessons. This is honestly the most honest things I've said in a while. In life you'll always be judged, eternal circles of trials. Just keep your head up and never ever fall to denial. You're finally on the clock, meaning your time is now. If you want it, get it, don't ever give up. You got it, you wanna make it, then chase it. No one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine, cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind, but if you want it, get it, don't ever give up, you got it, you wanna make it, then chase it, no one can stop you, they're gonna hate you, but let them hate you, that's fine, cause if they stand in your way, then you gotta leave them behind.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global Threads push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. Capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.
The champ is here! 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 The champ.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rian Hobson, and we're doing actually the deadline for today with the US stimulus package. But before I get there into detail, because then I need to explain how you need to trade on the stimulus package, because the deadline is today. So if there's nothing, believe me, then this market will definitely crash, and it will cause mayhem for traders. For those of you who are optimistic about it. So for other people who are optimistic about it, because obviously the market's already going up, so obviously the bulls will obviously continue to go up, and obviously the dollar will go down. But as things stand, you're facing a very aggressive Democrats and a very aggressive Republicans who are negotiating there, and you have the story of the Senate of the Republicans that literally don't want this deal to get passed because it costs too much. So it's a touch and go story, but I personally think that this deal will definitely not get passed today. I honestly doubt that. But before I get there, let's go to Australia quickly just to talk about the minutes that was released this morning. Now, they did talk about the Chinese, the whole sanctions of China that bans the coal and the meat and all of those things. They did mention that. Also, they did mention other parts of Asia that starts to rebound again. That is now South Korea and Japan. That's also trading partners with Australia, and they are also doing well. So the exports are really doing well, and also that the Chinese economy is doing well. So that's why they're exporting more goods to these countries, to these Asian countries. But the last part of the minutes, it goes as follows. The board affirms it's committed to support jobs, income, business in Australia. Its actions include decision in September to expand the term funding facility. We're keeping funding costs low and assisting with supply of credit. It agreed to maintain highly accommodative policy setting as long as required and to continue to consider how additional monetary easing, you must remember, and you must listen very carefully here, to continue to consider how additional monetary policy could support jobs as the economy opens up further. That last part is very important. To continue to consider how additional monetary easing could support jobs as the economy opens up further. So that part of the additional monetary easing, so they are still discussing how will extra liquidity or or additional rate cuts will actually create jobs for the people of Australia. So that is what the debate is about in Australia, and that's why the Australian dollar went down this morning and continue to go down. I can just imagine if that deal is not passed this evening, it will affect the Australian dollar as well. Also, if this deal get passed today, I must say, all countries is literally eyeing this story of this deal today. So if this deal doesn't get passed today, the Australian dollar will just continue to slide down. Basically, not just Australia, South African rand, New Zealand, basically all commodity currencies will definitely go down. But on Australia's side, we can expect some additional monetary easing. That is now in a form of interest rates cuts, because currently the interest rates is sitting on 0.25%. So obviously they will maybe make it 0 or 0.1%. There's not much room to go with Australia. Australia's interest rate is extremely low. It's literally 0. So there's not much they can go. Also on the other side, other side, a target of 0.25% for the yield on a 3-year Australian bond yield. So obviously, as I said, they do target that bond yield. The expand term funding facility to support credit to businesses, particularly small and medium-sized businesses. So obviously they still are pushing this stimulus money to the small businesses and medium businesses. Now, you must remember previously Australia and New Zealand, I think Canada as well, was saying, because they were starting to print money. So basically, they said in the beginning it will be temporary. They are still printing money until this day. So nothing has changed. So it just shows you the uncertainty around the RBA. But also, you must also have in consideration that the Australian economy is not doing so bad because of the exports that are doing well. So it's a two-way street for Australia. But depending on what is this deal today, if there is a deal today, let's say there's a deal today, the Australian dollar will definitely reverse its losses and go up. I can definitely tell you that. But it will be temporary because obviously the market, after this whole stimulus story is done in approximately in 2 days, then the Australian dollar will definitely go backwards down, because with the expectation that they will go with some monetary easing coming to the next meeting. So you must not forget that story when it comes to the Australian dollar. Now, if there is no deal today, the Australian dollar will just keep on sliding. And this can last for about 2 or 3 days. So please don't forget that. You have to put these two scenarios into your head. One, if there's a deal today, there will be an upswing for Australia, and it can last for about 2 days until this whole stimulus package story is done. And then the Australian dollar will reverse back again down, because the market will go back to its origin, which is that Australia will, in the next meeting, cut interest rates. If there's no deal, the Australian dollar will go further down and continue to go down. I think this one can last longer, the downside, maybe 2 or 3 days, or it can go even beyond that, because the market will also price in the interest rates cut. So they will price in the stimulus story and also the additional rate cuts that's coming. So it can definitely break the 0.7 handle, and it can go to the 0.6 handle. So it can definitely go there if there's no stimulus package going on for today. So Australian dollar is on fragile ground because of the announcement or the minutes of the of the Reserve Bank of Australia that stated that they will come with additional stimulus. Now, there's also another important part there, is that the board agreed to place more weight on actual, not forecast, inflation in its decision making. So the board will always keep inflation going around there, but I will just read that whole entire sentence. Even in the high level of uncertainty about inflation dynamics in the current economic environment, the board agreed to place more weight on actual, not forecast, inflation for decision making. So they will rather be data dependent on the actual figure of inflation, and not what is being forecast, which is their decision. But obviously you need to take in consideration inflation expectations, because it's very rarely wrong where economists get it wrong on inflation expectations. So they need to take that in consideration. But as they said, they will only look at the actual number when it comes to inflation. Also go further on, members indicate that they would also like to see more than just process towards full employment before consider an increase in the cash rate. As the board views addressing the high rate of unemployment as an important national priority, members recognize that while inflation can move up and down for a range of reasons, achieving inflation consistent with the target is likely to acquire a return to the tight labor market. In simple terms, they actually want the unemployment rate to go down. That in normal circumstances, which has been proven by many economists, that if the job markets get tighter or unemployment goes down, that is where you will see a rise of inflation, because people have more money, people will spend, and that is where you will get inflation to go up. So they will base the cash rate or a rate increase based on a tight monetary policy, because normally a tight monetary policy results. A tight labor market normally leads to high inflation, and that can also lead to an interest rate hike. So that came from Australia. So if we don't see any indication of improvement in employment in Australia, you can guarantee yourself that they will not lift up the interest rates. Also, the board also considered the nature of the forward guidance regarding the cash rate. Over recent months, just to remind you, cash rate is their interest rates. They call cash rate interest rates. So just to go over again, the board also considered the nature of the forward guidance regarding the cash rate. Over recent months, the board had communicated that it would not increase the cash rate target until progress is being made towards full employment, and it's confident that inflation will be sustainable within a 2 to 3% target band. So that is what the Reserve Bank of Australia said. So that is actually for you an indication on how the Australian dollar will behave, or when the interest rates will go up. So basically, in simple terms, we need to see that employment to go down, and they need to work towards full employment. I don't know what is the number of full employment, but definitely an improvement of employment so that inflation can get higher, and that is where they will start to consider of raising the interest rates in Australia. But as things stands now, there is no hope for the cash rate or the interest rates in Australia actually to improve or to go up. That is not the case now. So they need to see that labor market a bit tighter before they will lift up the interest rates. Also in South African terms, there's a bit of some huge troubles in South Africa. It's a podcast that I did make in the beginning of this year about locusts, and locusts it was actually very predictable that we will see a locust in South Africa, and that is what I explained in the beginning of this year, that locust is coming, and literally it is hitting the Eastern Cape extremely hard, and definitely we will experience even more or aggressive increase in food prices, especially already in South Africa. Potatoes are through the roof. Meat prices are also through the roof. So you will also see other products that will increase, and that locusts can spread. As you look at the story of Kenya, where locusts were actually spreading all over, so the possibility that the prices will increase, not the possibility, it will actually increase. It's because of the locusts, and the other problem is also the farm murders and the uncertainty regarding the farming community in South Africa. All of those things are adding into our inflation in South Africa, and we might see in South Africa a dovish hike where they lift up interest rates on a bad economy. That show I will do tomorrow, because it is actually quite a difficult time for South Africa, and honestly speaking, we're just adding more fuel to the actual fire when it comes to the farm murders and also very terrible economic policies in South Africa. But that show I will do tomorrow. But for the Australian part, just remember that the Reserve Bank of Australia made it very clear that they need to see the labor market to improve before they will even consider of lifting up the interest rates in Australia. So that is actually for the Australian dollar. So obviously don't forget the scenarios when it comes to the Australian dollar, what I mentioned actually earlier. So after the break, we'll just take a short break, but after that, I will definitely come back to the story of the stimulus deadline, which will be announced today.
The champ is here! champ is here. The 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 champ.
They see 30 seconds. They didn't see 10,000 hours.
Anyone can sail in smooth waters. Anyone can dance when the music is playing.
So is it just a run in the rain? You tell me.
Remind yourself of what that door opening is going to feel like.
So I have dreams. Compulsions to be legendary, evolving from the imaginary, and it's near and it's real. I can see. In due time, we realize that real life is defined by our own eyes. And I have blueprints to the skyline. It's just reality is built methodically. And overnight success, you would never guess, takes a long time. You have to cut lifelines and navigate landmines, but it's your move on your cue. Just decide. So I sat there, thought about it. How long am I gonna go on about it? Put my shoes on, I said so long, and went outside. Right through the field I used to run by, where the rows of sunflowers waist high, but it was different than what I envisioned. There weren't any road signs or guidelines or letters that said it's all just fine. It was just me adjusting as I made my way to the sunrise. Then I paused. On the ground below me was a little door. I knocked slowly, was pretty scared, maybe ill-prepared, but we get one life only. So I opened the hatch, looked down, and it's pitch black, no sound. And if you don't choose any road will do. I've been riding logistical merry-go-rounds and my eyes are wide. Restless soul with scores to settle from years ago. I know that there's more cause I told me so. I'm going down the rabbit hole and there's not a way out. The chips fall, I'm all in. Now my prospects are in lockstep and each step is a shakedown. I got a coat of armor, sword of steel, call to arms cause the threat's real. And see, crowns are made on battlefield, so your majesty, no, I will never kneel. Time to face fear, right front center. Watch doubts fall like it's November. Got a treasure map in my backpack, it says life's golden. What a pleasure, been round and round and free falling now. Cause there's ghost schools and there's goblins out. Are you leaving us? They call me treasonous. Think that you're dangerous, you must be delirious. Just in the guns fire and the trumpets start and the ground trembles from the steady march. And it looks bad cause their deck's stacked, but my king beats a queen of hearts. They're trying to win in spades, so I set fires with the kind of flames that forge empires. And like a hurricane, but I'm a tad insane. Cat 5, Cheshire. Right around we go, the next episode under the second story. So look out below, collect haters' tears that makes a steady flow. And the greatest fear is I told you so. I know it though, there's no impossible. You can watch it pass, you can watch it grow. Be more powerful than you will ever know. I'm going down the rabbit hole.
Be the kind of trader who sees the big picture. The world is changing around you. Global threats push gold, the safe haven asset, to higher prices each and every day. Now's your chance to start trading gold. Just go to capex.com and register to get up to a $5,000 bonus on your first deposit. Simply use GOLD5000 as a promo code and you're good to go. Capex.com proudly welcomes you to the next level trading experience. Register now and start taking full advantage of the new gold rush. Terms and conditions apply. Exposure to gold obtained via contracts for difference, which are leveraged products and incur a high level of risk. Capex.com is operated by JME Financial Services, Pty Ltd, an authorized financial services provider.
The champ is here. 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 The champ.
Good afternoon and welcome to Bull Market Stock Show. This is your host Rehan Hobson, and we're doing actually the deadline of the market today. Now, this thing can go two ways. As I explained earlier, we can get a no-deal scenario, or we can get actually a deal that can go through. But I honestly doubt that this deal will get passed because there's confusion with the U.S. Senate. The Republicans, they actually don't want this massive amount of stimulus of 1.8 trillion. They want actually something far less of about 500 billion. The thing is, the Senate needs to approve this deal. Yes, the House of the Democrats, which control Congress, can actually can pass it through, but the Republicans needs to get in line with whatever's agreed today. I think maybe the 2.2 trillion or the 1.8 trillion, something, I'm not sure what they will agree on, but the Republicans need to get to the party, and it looks like the Senate of the Republicans are actually not in the mood to pass this deal. They will definitely, I can tell you now, it looks like these guys are not in the mood to pass this deal because they say that it costs the U.S. economy too much, of 1.2 or 1.8 trillion, and they did do the stimulus already, which they all agreed on that the stimulus needs to go through. That was the first round. The second round, the Senate is saying, no, you only need the insurance money for the unemployed. That's it, but not more than that. Look, personally, I agree with the Senate of the Republicans. I mean, you can't keep on pushing money through. On the other side, you're sitting with a problem with the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve wants actually this 2% inflation story, or average inflation as they say now, where inflation is actually moving over the 2% line for quite some time consistently. They want to see that before they will even consider of lifting interest rates. So they want to see the inflation running over 2% for quite some time. And the only way how you can do that is by the fiscal response from the government to push money through. That is what that was the plan of the Federal Reserve. But as things stand, the Federal Reserve's hands are tied because they give it all over to Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump wants a stimulus package. Nancy Pelosi wants a 2.2 trillion package. The Republicans want a 500 billion stimulus package. Now, honestly, I can tell you now, the Federal Reserve actually literally don't want actually to hear about the 500 billion stimulus. They want a massive one to get actually the fuel up in the economy and to get to the 2% inflation story. But it just doesn't look possible. Honestly speaking, for me, as a trader, you have to be very careful today because one wrong move, which I'm so sure they will definitely not pass this deal today. And the market already started to move last night. Last night, the market actually went down about 500 points because there was uncertainty. And then there was a bit of a chat that went on where they say there's some hope, there's confidence that this deal may get approved today, but they are still talking. Why was it not approved yesterday? That is what I have always been saying. Why was it not approved yesterday? And the thing is, I think Donald Trump is literally his back is against the wall here because his Republicans don't want a 500 billion. I think that is where the big problem is with the Republican Senate. And obviously a 1.8 trillion is massive. I personally don't see how this deal will get approved. I honestly doubt that. And if it doesn't get approved, you can bet yourself the market will come crashing down hard, extremely hard. You will have your safe havens going up. But one thing for sure, you will definitely not see gold up. Gold will definitely not go up. The US dollar will go up. The Japanese yen will go up. The Swiss franc will go up. But definitely gold will not go up. Because obviously this is not in line of what the Federal Reserve wants with a 2% inflation objective. You must never forget that. The gold is moving on inflation expectations or inflation that will rise. And as things stand, if there's no deal, inflation will not increase. So which means gold, silver, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, oil, all commodities, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canada, euro, British pound, all will basically go down. And that is where obviously the safe haven currencies, which is Japanese yen, Swiss franc, and the US dollar will go up. But obviously, please, just a reminder, never trade your safe havens with each other. Rather use your US dollar against Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Euro, British pound. Rather do that. The British pound is also a very a soft target, and one that you can take advantage of, because they also have their own problems there in England with Brexit and also the COVID cases that's running wild there. So the British pound it's a soft target which you can take advantage of. New Zealand, obviously, and Australian, they are normally vulnerable when it gets to these shocks where there's a no deal approved. But as things stands now, it looks like the deal will get approved. The NASDAQ was up when I looked at it. Just want to make sure because I see things are turning a bit red here. But the Dow is still up. NASDAQ is still up. It looks like these guys are going on that the deal will get approved. And as things stands, it's still in the pipelines. The dollar is actually down for Dave. I can just look at the currencies again. The dollar index is down by a 0.18. I think it's been down for the last 2 days now, 2 or 3 days. I would say last week Friday as well. The British pound is down today, obviously, with this whole Brexit nonsense that goes on there. Australian dollar is down, obviously, because of the RBA. And New Zealand dollar is down, I don't know for what reason, maybe just because of the stimulus package and the uncertainty. Will this deal will get approved or not? Canadian dollar is slightly stronger today, but I doubt it will last long if that deal will not approve. I'm dead sure that this deal will not get approved. You can go in with the kamikaze trade. And that is what I normally say. The lotto trade. You can actually go in and open up, sell NASDAQ, sell Dow Jones. That is now if your account can handle it. Sell NASDAQ, sell Dow Jones, buy the dollar against some other currencies, sell gold also, and pray that this deal will not get passed. Believe me, you will be in the jackpot with that kamikaze trade. As I say, it's a lotto trade. It's a kamikaze trade. But I feel that if you want to actually go big or go home, then surely it's today, because it looks like that deal will not get approved today. I would say a kamikaze trade is actually, for me personally, if you really have the nerve and you have the stamina for it, I would say you can go ahead. Sell NASDAQ, sell Dow Jones, sell all equities basically, buy the dollar, as much trade as you can if you open, and pray that you were in the kamikaze, because believe me, if it works out for you, believe me, that will be some massive profits for you. Or you can go the other route where, for example, you can go in favor of a stimulus package, buy NASDAQ, buy Dow Jones, sell the dollar, or sell your safe haven currencies, buy Australia, buy New Zealand, buy British pound, and then buy also gold, and then you are in favor of a stimulus package. I think you can actually go, for me personally, with the kamikaze trade. That is now if you have the nerve, because it could be stressful. It means that you need to be glued in front of the TV the whole time and eating your nails literally flat out for that trade. But if you are right, you are right. If you are wrong, you are wrong. You just have to take it on the chin. But personally, if you want to go big or go home, then surely it's for today. The time is actually today. Now, personally myself, I will not do it. I'm more of a conservative trader. I will just keep my dollar trades open. And if it works out for me, perfect. But if it doesn't work out, I will still keep the dollar, because we are not out of the woods as in yet as the US economy. But if you want really a kamikaze trade, then your time is now. And as they say, fortune always favor the brave. So that is it from my side. All the best with trading today. I will see you guys tomorrow again at 1 o'clock. Bye-bye.